Hey out there, I'm here to tell you how criminal court really works. You've probably watched a lot of TV, you've heard some stories, or maybe you have no idea how criminal court works. Well, I'm just not going to tell you how it works. I'm going to tell you from my opinion how criminal court really works. And this is for Washington State because I'm a Washington State defense attorney. My name is Lance Fryrear. I'm a criminal defense attorney who's been defending people charged with crimes all throughout Washington State for more than 20 years. In fact, I have a team of 5 attorneys, and that's all we do. Before that, I was a prosecutor for 7 years, so I've seen both sides. So there's sort of the formal way that we think about how court works, and this is the type of court hearing you go to, and this is what a prosecutor says, and this is what a defense attorney says, and this is what a jury does. That's one way you can think about criminal court, and a court does work in a certain way, but how does it really work? What gets things done? And what should you really expect? What is your involvement? What is your attorney's involvement? And what things might move your case towards a favorable resolution? So if you find this video useful, please like and please subscribe. It helps get more information out there. I'm doing the best that I can to educate the public. All right, so I'm just going to jump right into it. So how does criminal court really work? Well, from your point of view as the defendant, or a defendant if you're not one, your involvement is basically show up when we need you to, right? In criminal court, you're almost never going to see a police officer because most things aren't going to get to a trial if things go well. Right? There's going to be some type of agreement between the prosecutor and the defense and yourself for a result that makes sense. So you're probably never going to see a police officer. You're probably never going to have to hear testimony. And you're probably never going to have to talk about what happened in court because public speaking is scary and you're probably worried about it. You don't need to worry about it. Almost never do you need to worry about talking about what happened in court. So criminal court is a situation where, of course, you're charged with a crime, and the prosecutor's trying to, prosecute the crime, and the defense attorney's trying to defend the crime. And you don't want to defend yourself, but for the most part, you're showing up for court dates, and you have to be there, but you don't have to say much. So how do we get a result, right? What's the process for how it really works? Well, how in my mind it really works is there's a whole bunch of cases and the system has too many cases, right? They're sort of backed up. The court might have, hundreds and hundreds or even 1,000 cases in a month. And so the newer cases, they're only a couple months old, 2 or 3 months old, sort of don't take high priority in the prosecutor's mind or always in the court's mind. And that's okay because, as cases get older, things usually don't get worse for a defendant. Sometimes, time heals a lot of wounds. Sometimes things get better. So how criminal court really works is cases don't get resolved quickly, not because people are necessarily dragging their feet, but because there's already a whole bunch of cases in the system. And so things are going to take time, but you generally shouldn't be worried about that. It's okay if it takes time because time usually helps you if you can at least stay out of trouble and do what your attorney says. So how court really works is there's going to be a bunch of usually pre-trial hearings for non-felonies. It's different for felonies, so this is mainly for non-felonies. And your attorney is going to usually have you go over a police report. It's going to have you do some things to try to improve yourself and show the prosecutor that you're getting some education about, what you're accused of. If you did it or you did do it or didn't do it, the prosecutor thinks you did it. So we're usually going to want you to do some things as the case proceeds through pretrials, so you can get your attorney in a better position for the prosecutor to hear your side of the story. So how it really works is the judge matters, but really the prosecutor matters a whole lot also, because the prosecutor is the one that has the power to change your charge, to dismiss your charge, to give you agreements that let you get a case changed or dismissed over time. And so the prosecutor has a hard job. They're trying to balance the needs of the public versus the needs of the defendant, even though they're only representing the public, and what they can prove and what they think is fair. And so the prosecutor is really important. So as time passes, how court really works is your attorney is going to try to get your point of view across to the prosecutor and try to get the state or the city prosecutor to treat you in the most positive way that they can. And so after multiple court dates, I'd say that most court cases pre-COVID or took like 3 to 6 months, and now post-COVID maybe it's closer to 6 to 12. But there's going to be a lot of court dates for you where not a lot's happening. And what we tell our clients are to be patient, because it's sort of how the system works. You always have a right to get to a trial, but how court really works is there's almost no trials that actually happen because it would not be possible. A court might be able to do 30 trials in a year, jury trials, maybe 30. Some courts could only do 12, right? And they might have 50 times that number of cases. And so hang in there. How court really works is usually things turn out okay. It takes a period of time, and most people aren't going to end up going to jail if they end up following what their attorneys tell them. So that's how court really works. It's not as dramatic as you might think, although you're still going to feel pressure. But your attorney will tell you what to do. Try to do what your attorney says, and just show up when you need to. So I hope you found this helpful. I just want to take a little pressure off about how court really works, at least in my opinion, versus what you see on Law and Order and stuff like that. And if you have a criminal case and you need some help or you have some questions, you can always give my office a call. My name's Lance Fryrear. I'm the owner of the law offices of Lance Fryrear. We've been defending people charged with crimes for more than 20 years. If you need some help, give us a call and we'll be there for you. Thank you.